G'day all. Oh, it's a fairly exciting milestone for my channel, which I'm celebrating right now, and it's my channel view count being in triple figures. So, yep, this is my 100th video. So, yeah, I'm just going to do a bit of a video talking about, sort of properly, sort of better introducing me and, what I do for the channel, and do a bit sort of talking about, or show my proper sort of retro computing setup and retro computer family, and just talk about, general stuff, just give people an introduction about, introduction to the, to who I am, what the channel is, and all that. So, essentially what I do for the channel is just basically just do random videos talking about, like, showing off random tech, things I think that people will find interesting. Have sort of done some videos that are a bit more theoretical and all that, and those videos could very well educate some people, especially if they're wanting to take apart a certain piece of technology or wanting to understand what could go wrong with a certain piece of technology. Like, those videos are all there to educate people, or just if someone's wanting to find something random and interesting to watch, then once again, that's what it's there for. So, so past 2 years I've sort of been fairly busy with studies and all that sort of thing, but now that's sort of finished, just taking a bit of a break from all that, hopefully turn a bit of my attention to things here. Essentially, mostly a bit more about me, what I do in my spare time is, essentially a lot of what I do on the channel, really. Just general, all-round fun and mayhem with computers. Like retro gaming, modern gaming. One of the sort of hobbies I haven't really shared all that much on the channel is programming, which I sort of have been getting into within the past couple of years, but it's more so I was sort of doing it on and off for a while in 2019 and 2020, but sort of been doing it more or less full-time last year and the year before, and been doing it more so on a sort of a hobbyist sort of a level these days. But either way, primarily I specialise in C#, or that's what I'm best at, C# and Unity, and more specifically UI within Unity, user interface within Unity. So, and just making video games that are, like, generally fairly polished. So, yeah, that's what I do with my time, generally. Otherwise, you'd just catch me just taking it easy, really. So, yeah, or I guess socialising with people. But either way, or doing YouTube. But either way, so I've gotten a couple of certifications to be a video game developer, so that's probably, I think, where I'll end up. But either way, still won't stop me from doing things here, or just general YouTube and general tech hobbyist stuff. Be that pulling apart a computer, putting one together, fixing a broken computer, doing any other sort of fabrication, bit of casual wood fabrication, maybe a bit of metal if I sort of, can get all the resources together. Got most of the knowledge all there, but I just don't really have the resources at the moment. The only thing I really have resources for is just more so just old and new computers. And of course I've got basic YouTubing resources. I've got my phone. I used to film on a camera, had a DSLR that I used to film with, but it just got a bit sort of, it was a bit of work to pull the SD card out of that, put it into a computer, and then slap all the clips together in Movie Maker and all that. But these days I generally try to film videos just in one take, so I can just upload it straight from the camera roll in my phone up to YouTube. So yeah, it just makes things a bit easier to do that. But either way, yeah. Aside from that, yeah, may as well jump into a bit of a tour of my retro computing family and pull all of them out, boot them up, the ones that are working. The Pentium 200mmx isn't quite operational at the moment. Just need to figure out what's wrong with that. RAM is suspect at the moment. Recapped the GPU and now the GPU's not working, so got another one spare that I've got, another spare one that's not quite as good, but it's it will do. Sitting around that I put in there, courtesy of Caleb. Although I probably will eventually go back to him when I find my own PCI video card, but yeah, got a couple of retro laptops now, courtesy of a couple other people, one of which may feature in a later video of mine. I've got a stack of old bits and pieces to blow up, so which I probably won't include here, but I'm wanting to do a decent amount here because it's my 100th video. But yeah, I think that probably a proper tour of my retro hardware and an extensive list of specs and a look inside each one of them would probably suffice. The Pentium 3 project is more or less done, but then I had a couple issues with that. I found another I/O shield for the motherboard, one that fits it better. Took the motherboard out to put the new I/O shield in, and at the same time it's an Asus 815 EP chipset, so it's socket 370 copper mine Pentium 3. The heatsink didn't have any thermal paste. The 815 chip doesn't have any thermal paste on the heatsink. Just came like that from the factory, but either way, I sorted that and put all like everything back together and all that, and yeah, Windows won't boot up. So it's 98 second edition, but it just wasn't booting up. So got all that sorted. It was something to do with drivers. Drivers wanted reinstalling, so I had to reinstall sound drivers, reinstall graphics card drivers, reinstall LAN drivers. Those aren't working yet, but either way, unless I plan to do any sort of LAN party stuff, I probably don't really need LAN, but yeah, file sharing over the network is useful, but either way, then I'd have to get an Ethernet cable, like get an Ethernet cable out and get all that sorted. So yeah, it's got USB mass storage drivers and all that set up, so you can easily just plug a USB in there and all that. But anyways, yeah, all that will be fixed when I have the motivation to do it. But either way, yeah, without further ado, let's rambling on for 9 minutes, as you can see here. Either way, yeah, time to jump straight into the retro computer tour. Okay, thought we'd start from oldest to newest, and what better machine to start off with than the Pentium 75 Olivetti. So, with this machine, I've probably since I've last shown it, I've upgraded the RAM. Has 32 megs. Pentium 75 still stayed the same. Put a LAN card in there. Sound card's still the same. Put a new CD drive in there. Fixed the fixed the power LED, but I think it's supposed to go in there, not there. I've got it, so something I'll have to fix. Dallas RTC seems fine still. Stuck some more VRAM in there, all that. So yeah, anyway, time to boot this one up and show how it is in its current form. Okay, here we go. Wouldn't be doing retro right if I didn't have the Asus CRT monitor, and it's a very nice AST keyboard, courtesy of a friend. Either way, let's boot it up. Don't turn it on. Power light, hard drive light. 1994 AMI BIOS. 32 megabytes of RAM. Memory size mismatch. So I've updated the memory, and this may flicker, so CRT flicker warning once again. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit flickery. Anyway, already shown this on the channel before, but anyway, save changes and exit. Okay. Windows 95. Oh, there we go. Oops. Looks as if I was playing Doom 2 on here last. Oops. Oop. No. That's that. Time to move on. Oh, here we go. This machine wasn't currently operational, so it's all been done inside the shed. But either way, this is the Pentium 200mmx system. Yeah, has a nice AT case, baby AT case, CD drive, floppy drive, zip drive. Has a little megahertz display on that weird jelly bean shaped thing on the left. Power button on the right. Middle is turbo, and then left is reset. And then it's power, turbo, and hard drive. And what I've got in here is try and do some impromptu camera work here. Got P200mmx plastic package, 20 gig Seagate U Series X hard drive, zip drive, iOmega I think it is, Mitsumi CD drive, and I forget what brand the floppy drive is, but 64 megabytes of SD RAM. Just got a generic S3 Verge card there, nothing too special. Of course, AT power supply, and yeah, just need to strip this thing down because things weren't working properly. But either way, that's that. Yeah, onwards. While I've got this here, I should mention it. This is a little big board computer, courtesy of a fellow member of the retro computing group I'm part of. This is powered by Z80 CPU. It's a Zilog Z80A DART. So, yeah. It's got provisions for a floppy controller. Being 8-inch floppy drive, I'm fairly sure. Don't have any of those, but could certainly get all that set up. Yeah, got a nice back plane with it. Unfortunately, some of the power pins have come off, so I need to figure out a solution for that. Power connector is a bit funky, so I might look into potentially figuring out a power connector that might be a bit more suitable. But either way, until then, the setup I've got is just going to a standard ATX power supply. And yeah, these are the pins here for serial communication. So yeah, I think it operates on RS-232 levels. I was hoping to get this to interface with a terminal I've got, but the terminal only operates at TTL level, so yeah, I have to look into all that, figure out how I can get all that to work. But I also like to put a bit of a nicer sort of connector that isn't so sort of hacked together on there. But yeah, that's for another day, I think. So yeah. Anyways, slight diversion there, but this is still retro, so 1982, I think it's from, roughly. But yeah. Anyways, onwards. Okay, here we are with the first ATX machine in my arsenal. This is a Pentium 3000 megahertz, half gig of RAM. Got one of the sticks out at the moment just for troubleshooting. There was an issue that the computer was having that I thought could have been RAM related, but it was driver related. So either way, yeah, 1000 megahertz Pentium 3. GPU is an FX 5700 by MSI. Intel Pro 100S Ethernet adapter, and then an SB0220 Live 5.1 PCI card. And the motherboard is an Asus Castle 2-C board with an 815 EP chipset. So yeah, the heatsink didn't have thermal paste from the factory, but I've since applied some, so yeah, hopefully shouldn't get too warm. So yeah, and then a HEC branded power supply, 300 watts. This power supply used to be in Dad's old Pentium 4. 40 gig IDE Western Digital drive, floppy drive, light on DVD drive, and then a superpower case. So, yeah. 2.3 1000. Yeah, as I said before, a couple of little issues with LAN, but we'll ignore those for now. By the looks of the file, it's something to do with wake on LAN, but either way, no mouse detected, don't have one attached. And yeah, there we go. Have a fair amount of games on here. Halo, Soldier of Fortune, Star Wars, Jedi Knight 2. Let us get to that. Nope. Quake 3 Arena, Wolfenstein, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, that is. Delta Force 2, Far Cry, Shadows of the Empire, some DOS games. It's not letting me tab to the desktop. Okay. If that's what it wishes to do, might try to Shift F10 my way into Windows Explorer. There we go. There we go. And as for DOS games, those are all the ones I've got. So yeah, fairly solid Windows 98 machine. So yeah, onwards. Okay, so here's the next one. This one is a sort of a remake of the PC that Dad used to have back in the day. This is a computer that he had during, I think it used to be an ex-work computer. An ex-work computer. So it was in a lab for a good 8 or so years, being used from about, the machine was built 2002ish, and 2003, and it was retired in 2010, but then saw another 3-4 years of use as a home computer. So yeah, the board I've got here is an Intel D845 GBV Intel desktop board. I can't quite remember exactly what Dad's PC had, but it was an Intel desktop board and it looked visually identical to this. This board doesn't have Ethernet, but the IO shield does. But either way, it's easy enough to add an Ethernet card into here. But the GPU is a Radeon 9600 Pro. The original had an MX 440 AGP 8X. So sadly, that's not the original GPU. The original GPU, some of the chips broke off of it, but it's still around. And the cooler seized. Here we have a Sound Blaster Live 5.1 SB, whatever it is, SB0100. Underneath the stock Intel cooler, which it's not the exact same cooler, but I've got the original fan floating around, which I'll stick in here, but it's identical to this one. Underneath the cooler is a Pentium, Northwood Pentium 4, 2.4 gigahertz, 533 bus. RAM, it was a gigabyte of DDR. Not sure if that's the original stick or not, but certainly has the original RAM capacity, or RAM amount. The original DVD drive sadly is not really working, so it's not in there, but it's got a light on one here. Floppy drive that needs replacing. I'm not too sure if that was the original or not. Hard drive's not original, it's a Seagate, not Seagate, Western Digital 80 gig drive. The original had a 40 gig Seagate and a 120 gig Samsung, so I had two drives. Used to actually have Windows 98 second edition on there. It was upgraded to 2000, and then eventually XP by the time Dad got a hold of it and all that. So yeah. Either way, yeah, let's fire this one up. Ooh. GPU fan's definitely not the quietest thing in this machine at all. And again, CPU fan isn't too far off either. I think that this machine was often just kind of kept behind, or like kind of kept like quite away from the monitor, just because it was the CPU fan was just really loud. But either way. It's running XP Home, I think. Got a couple of games on here. Got some Flash games. Got Halo on here. Want to eventually have a LAN party at some point. Host a LAN party with a couple of Pentium 4s and Pentium 3s that have Halo on there. But either way, remember I did that with friends a while ago. We all had Halo on our computers, and we were all playing on a like playing a LAN game of Halo, which was pretty fun. The original Combat Evolved. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I think this computer may have lost the CMOS settings because it's not 12:07 AM. It's 8:21 PM. But oh well. Yeah. Either way, that's that machine. It's a fairly nice machine. Yeah. Yeah. Onwards to the second to last machine being featured here. Now, here we go. Here's the fairly ultimate Pentium 4 build that I've got here. There's a Zalman flower cooler, 120mm diameter, so it's a nice fan. It's fairly powerful and it spins pretty fast, so yeah, not one of those fans you want to get your fingers caught in. Two 60mm noctuas, fractal design 80 there, point of view 6600 GT 128, and then a Order G2 ZS card. Motherboard is an Asus P4C800 875P chipset. Yeah, it's a fairly decent board. Fairly high end, I think, for the time. Corsair 550 watt power supply, two 500 gig hard drives, two CD drives, floppy drive. Yeah. Now let's get this one booted up. Okay, forgot to plug the thing in. It's definitely not a quiet machine. It's probably the loudest retro machine I own. Oops. I should reset that so you can see the GPU splash. Oops. Definitely didn't like that. There we go. Yep, still not working. Okay, well, on the shelf for this one. Really hoped to show this, but yep, just seemed to spontaneously just die on camera. Anywho, onwards. Okay, this machine isn't entirely retro, but some might call it semi-retro. But either way, still new enough to do some basic internet stuff with and all that. But definitely last year of machine before i3s, i5s and i7s started coming out. So this is a Core 2 Quad Q9400. Got 8 gigs of DDR2 800 megahertz in here. XFX AlphaDog 8800 GT. Some Pioneer DVD drive. Need to get a SATA cable for that sorted out. IDE cable. 240 gig SSD as a boot drive and a 500 gig hard drive for storage. Fairly standard network card. Just fairly era appropriate. I think it's from about 2008ish. Motherboard is an Asus P5Q Pro, which ought to be written on here somewhere. There it is. P5Q Pro. Got a nice Cooler Master fan there, and a Zalman 500 watt power supply. Semi-modular, so yeah. Has a 120mm fan in the front, one in the back, and then one as side intake that blows past the GPUs to get a bit of air, just a bit more air moving past it. Because it is an 8800 GT, you want to do what I can to keep the thing alive. So, yeah. Either way, let's get this machine booted up, and after that, I'll call it a day for this video, I think. Cooler Master Centurion 534 case. Unfortunately, it has a bit of a ding in the side of it, but yeah, not really that noticeable, but anyways, let's get it all booted up. Oh, fingers crossed this one doesn't die me either, and means we can leave the video on a positive note. But either way, power supply on this one's fairly funky. It's got a heatsink and heat pipes, so yeah, nice blue lighting all around. Fingerprint magnet. Okay, yeah, well, the machines still seem a bit dead. All throughout the end of the last year and start of this year, all the computers in the house have all died, regardless of whether they're mine or not. So, yeah, give the RAM a bit of a wiggle, give the GPU a bit of a wiggle. Seems as if this machine's dead too. Alright. Alright. Yeah. Definitely not happy with the act that either of those two computers put on. Might not be seeing them for too much longer. Yeah. If they weren't good computers, I'd probably destroy them. But either way, yeah. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. But either way, on a more positive note, reached the milestone of 100 videos all up, which is a milestone I was sort of eyeing off for a while. But yeah, finally here, and yeah, thanks to everyone who's been a part of the journey, whether you're you know, you've just subscribed within the past, you know, month or two from you know, saying that shout out, or whether you've been a long time subscriber, or you know, whether we know each other in person or anything like that. But yeah, thanks everyone for you know, joining me along the journey. So yeah, anyways, that's it for this video, and yeah, things can only move forward from here. So yeah, I think next milestone would probably be to get up to 50 subscribers, I reckon. So yeah, probably do another video to celebrate that, and yeah, but either way, that's been my celebration here, showing off my retro well, retro and semi-retro PC hardware, and showing you how non-functional it all is. Yeah, I swear that all these machines were working the last time I used them. But either way, yeah, well done if you got this far. You must be really into retro PCs. But either way, that's all for this video, and yeah, thanks for watching.